Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to Moo Outdoors. Today I'm out here at my local pond, little park over here, and the pond is right there. So what I'm doing today is doing a kayak review on my Lifetime Sport Fisher, and let's take a look at it. Alright, this guy is a Lifetime Sport Fisher. Right there. So this is a 10-foot long, 36 inches wide, pretty wide for a 10-foot long kayak, and it's actually a tandem kayak. So you got seating area here, second one here, and third one here. So starting from the bow, you get the nice molded handle right there, and you get all these different footrest, and you have total of 3 cup holders in front of each seating area, and there's also a little hole here was meant for a sail mast. So here there's 3 holes, but I don't think Lifetime ever came out with their sail system. So looking at from the right side of the kayak, you have a flush mount rod holder, and you have paddle clip right there which falls down. And in the back, you got a flush mount rod holder back here and here as well. And this is your hatch. There's the inside. That's the only hatch it's got. And it's got a couple of pet eyes. Got the drain plug. And back here, there's a mount for trolling motor as well, if you ever want to mount a trolling motor. And you can't see it, but down here there's a recessed area where you can put your finger, and there's the rear handle. And this is how the paddle clip works right there. Not the greatest, but it still works. And there used to be a handle here ripped off fairly quickly. It took only about a year to get the handles ripped off, but I don't usually use the handle much. I just grab onto the gunner right here, so I never had to replace it. Okay, here's the backrest. It comes with the 2 backrests. Right now it's sitting at right in the middle, but if you ever want to go tandem, you can put one of the backrests back here and the other one here, and you can use it as a tandem kayak. And over here you got your little pet eyes with the bungee cord. It's all stretched out, which I'm going to be replacing. And there you go, Lifetime Sport Fisher. Let me flip around and take a look at the hull. So the hull is kind of unique. As you can see, it's kind of like a pontoon. You got this here, you got this here, but also there's a long keel in the center, pretty much goes all the way to the boat. So that long keel is supposed to keep the boat straight, but this being the 10-footer, I guess this works okay. Not the best trekking kayak. And if you look at the pontoon, instead of having a little boxy pontoon, it's kind of like a cone shape, which I actually like better than boxy pontoon. This one definitely gives you a little bit of less primary stability, but you can really engage the secondary stability fairly easy. If you're getting hit by the wave from the side, bracing will be easier on this rather than the box type of pontoon. And also it's got a nice rocket profile, so it does go over the waves fairly easily. But then again, this is a 10-footer, so I do not recommend taking this out offshore, out in the ocean, which I have before, but I do not recommend it, and I will tell you why in a bit. Alright, let's get it underwater. right off the bat, you guys are gonna notice every time I stroke, the bow end goes to side. So, like I said, not a great tracking kayak. However, that's pretty typical for a kayak that is 10 foot long. The longer they are, they track better. If you can fabricate some kind of rudder, it will probably track really good. But without the rudder, just relying on that long keel, I don't think that it is long enough, because this is a 10 foot kayak. At the same time, it's got the rocker profile, so the tracking is not so great. So this kayak does come with 2 paddles, just like this guy, lifetime paddle. But this paddle is pretty crappy. I mean, it works, I used it, but it's so much heavier, and plus the length of this paddle, I believe, is a 220, so it's kind of short for a kayak 36 inches wide. I mean, even though this kayak actually moves really well for a 10 footer, especially for a 36 inch wide kayak. However, since the tracking is not that good, and since you are doing this the whole time, this kayak is not meant to go distance. You know, small lakes, near shore, and also like skinny river. If you are just floating down the skinny river, this kayak is great. Like I said before, the hull of the kayak, the pontoon, is not box shaped, so you can actually engage the secondary stability very easily, and which helps in the rough conditions. If you are getting hit by a wave from one side, you can lead into that and keep your kayak horizontal as possible. So I really like this feature of this kayak, and that's why it actually glides through the water pretty well too, even the tracking is not so good. So you guys know that I'm doing a giveaway, and one of the prizes is this kayak. I'll be giving away this kayak for one of the lucky winners, along with the bending branches angler slice paddle, because the paddle it comes with pretty much suck, and it's kind of short. I'm also going to throw this in, and also you get a muumuu hat. This one is obviously black and white, but I got some different colors coming in pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. And if you not have entered the giveaway, please do. You got about 2 more weeks to enter. I'm giving away a jigging rod, I'm giving away a salmon trolling rod, and I'm also giving away a lure package. So all prizes combined together, they're worth just below 700. So it's I think it's a pretty big giveaway for just a 10K subscriber giveaway. So please check that out. I'll leave the link to that video in description. All you gotta do is subscribe, like the video, and comment down below with the keyword. There are a lot of invalid entries, so please go back and check your entry and make sure the keyword is spelled correctly, and make sure you know what the keyword is. Most people did it correctly, but there's a lot of people who make invalid entries, so please go double check. Okay, I try to comment on some of them, but there are so many entries I just cannot go through everything, so please go back and check. So next thing you're going to be wondering is, can you stand on this kayak? Yes, technically yes, but it's really hard to stand on this kayak. If you have a rope that can assist you standing up, but it's kind of awkward. It doesn't really have a standing platform, so yes, you can stand on this kayak, but yes, you can stand on this kayak, but it's not easy. And you might feel a little tippy because of the it's not like a boxy pontoon style, but it does rock back and forth, but it does have a really good secondary stability. So the chances of you flipping the kayak is pretty low. However, to stand and sit back down, it's a little bit of challenge. And also, since you don't have a flat standing platform, this is not very comfortable. This kayak actually works really good when you're floating down the river, especially skinny, narrow river, because it's so short, 10 foot long, and since it doesn't track well, guess what? You can turn this kayak around on a dime. You can do 360 all day. Kind of like a river rafting kayak. The tracking sucks, but you can maneuver very easily. So this was my very first kayak that I bought. I believe I used the kayak for about a year. I did, of course, lakes, rivers, delta. So I actually taken this out on the ocean a few times. It actually wasn't too bad. I think the most I traveled on this kayak was about 4 miles. Went out to Sonoma Coast a few times. Went out to Half Moon Bay a couple of times. One time I went out to Half Moon Bay. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. You launch inside the harbor, and it's about a half a mile to the entrance to the harbor. And it's another 1 mile to the green can, the typical fishing ground. Swell was like 4 feet at 12 seconds, so it was really nice there. The wind was like minimal, maybe 5, maybe up to 10 miles per hour. So I was having a good time, and then the wind started to pick up, 5 to 10 to 10 to 15 real quick, and into 15 to 20. And within maybe like 10-15 minutes, it shot up to 25 miles per hour gusting, and I was drifting so fast away from the harbor. So I decided to head in, and I had really difficult time getting back to the harbor in this thing. This kayak does move pretty well on the water, but the tracking is pretty bad. Especially when you are paddling against the heavy gusts, the tracking gets even worse. So from the green can to the harbor is about a mile, and I believe it took me over an hour to get inside the harbor with that wind. Meanwhile, all these hobby guys were just passing me by. They had no issues going in. I know they were working pretty hard too with the pedal. But at the same time, I was pretty much going almost hard as I can, and for over an hour, and just made into the harbor. And even after I got inside the harbor, I was tired, my muscles were fatigued. It took me another good 30 to 40 minutes get to the launch. So after that experience, I'm like, I am not ever gonna take this kayak out in the ocean, and I never did. And that's the day I decided to get a hobby kayak, and my first hobby kayak was a Hobby Revolution 11, and I used that thing for a few years, and I love that kayak. So portable and pretty efficient. So what I'm trying to say is, whoever wins this kayak, I don't recommend you to take this out in the ocean, not in the bay or anywhere with the heavy current. I had a lot of good times on this kayak. I used to go fishing with my son out in the lakes, out in the delta for bass fishing, and he will sit here, I will sit back here. Had a great time on the calm water. We typically paddle like 3 to 5 miles round trip, and there was good times. And when my son was little, he would sit where I am. My wife will sit here, I will sit in the back, and we just have a good time on the water. I think this is a really good starter kayak for a lot of people. People have kids or dogs. The The weight capacity is 500 pounds, and the weight of the kayak is around 70 pounds. So if you are a bigger person who just want to go out to the lake and paddle near shore and float down the calm skinny river, this kayak is actually pretty good. This one being a 10-footer is actually pretty portable. You can just throw this on the back of the short bed truck without any bed extender. In a van, 10-footer, so you can throw this in a van. Pretty easy to transport. And the seat or seating area is not so comfortable. I'm not gonna lie. You're gonna need some kind of foam pad. I forgot to bring it out, but I typically use an 1.5 inch thick closed cell foam pad that I use for this kayak, and I use that same foam pad on my Revolution 11 as well. It's pretty comfortable. I'll have the link in description somewhere, so if you guys want to check it out. If you guys feel like you need extra foam underneath, that foam pad is really great. It's thick, 1.5 inch, so very comfortable. So what I don't like about this kayak is that the tracking is pretty bad, and the comfort of the seat. You guys know I have no problem sitting on my Stealth, right? It's got no padding, it's just the plastic. But with the Stealth, the plastic is kind of contoured to fit your butt. But this one is not. This one's pretty flat, so it's not very comfortable. What do I like about this kayak is this kayak you can engage the secondary stability fairly easily. So it can handle pretty rough conditions fairly well. And this kayak does move fairly well underwater. Doesn't feel like a barge when you paddle. It actually glides pretty well, minus the tracking, of course. Yeah, overall I think this is a pretty decent kayak for near shore, small lakes like this, floating down a calm and skinny river. If you are a bigger person and looking for a very affordable kayak, this kayak could be your option. And also, if you have a child or dog you want to go paddling with near shore or small lakes and float down the river, this is a pretty decent kayak. So once again, I'm giving away this kayak and this paddle and this hat. The entry period ends on May 17, 2021 at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So enter and this kayak can be yours. Only catch is that you have to be able to physically come and pick up this kayak around Sacramento area. But this kayak can be yours. So if you have any questions, please comment down below. And once again, thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned for more, and go outside and enjoy the outdoors.